Hello, I'm out once again, this time a night shoot, for a project I have been doing the past, what would it be, 2-3 years? And yeah, it's quite a simple project, so it's not, it's just something I do in my spare time basically, whenever I've got no other sort of photos in mind. And yeah, it does turn up some nice compositions every now and again. And the good thing is that I can see the things as I'm walking around my local places as I am now. Anyway, about the project. Essentially what it is a living thing, or natural thing, lit by artificial light, such as this tree I can see here. I've actually taken a picture of this tree already. But basically most of my photos so far have been street lights illuminating leaves, but it can be anything. I've used bus stops to illuminate a tree when it didn't have an advert on it, so it was a very bright white light, and I'll put that up if I can find it. The working title for the project is Synthesis, because obviously it's a thing of, well, it's photosynthesis, as in trees and plants, and synthesis is bringing two things together, which would be the light and the plants. So, yeah, there's the explanation of the name. Anyway, we're at the first tree that I've had my eye on for a while, because it's been slowly changing colour, but also it's losing it more rapidly now. And this is the one I've had my eye particularly on, this branch just here, this one right ahead, but it's not been as colourful as I've thought it would have been, so it's not the intended composition I was going to go for. But my new intended one is actually a backlit one through the leaves. It gives a bit more, hopefully I can change the viewpoint enough to cover the street light almost entirely with the leaves I've got left. As such, it's going to be difficult though, something like that, and zoom in, and hopefully we can make something out of this. So that will be the I will, once I've got it set up again, well for the first time actually, I'll come back. So here we have the first composition I've got up there, and that's sort of it, minus the hot spot. I've tried to minimise said hotspot on the actual composition, but I might have to get rid of a couple of tiny spots. But this is what I got. And it's around about a tenth of a second. I'm gonna try and I might go F11, seeing as I'm not trying to blur stuff. Or maybe a little bit. Right. Well, it's going to be more like a second actually. Tonight I'm doing it because we've got I really shouldn't be using autofocus. Tonight I'm doing it because it's a relatively calm night, and it's we've got some colder weather coming in next week, so I don't want to end up losing some of these compositions to the chill actually knocking them off the trees. So I thought I'd better get out and get the ones I like before they disappear. Even at this aperture, it's still razor thin, but yeah, let's get this one in the bag then. Yes, I like the veins in the Y vein of the branch showing up in this composition, and also the layering of the higher leaves above these lower ones, giving a bit of a yellowy glow to it. But yeah, here's the first picture. So we're on to the next one now, which is probably about 5-10 minutes away from the first location. Leaf stuck to my shoe. And yeah, it's similar to I don't know if I actually took it last year, but it's similar. But this place always seems to get this little triangle of leaves left around this time of year, towards the end of the autumnal colours. And it's a bit different every year, of course, but that's how stuff is. Of course, because it's never going to give you the same colours twice, is it? In the same way. So we got that one, and then I think maybe one or two not far from that, and the last one I'm probably not going to film because it's behind people's houses and they probably won't like me talking behind their fence. So if that comes out nicely, I'll put that on screen, but at the end, but probably won't talk to the camera or do anything like that. And that'll be the last one I get anyway, because it's the closest one to home. So yeah, apologies for all this to camera stuff, but there's not much to see in the pitch black, is there? So I'll start this back up when I'm approaching the next shot. Here we are, coming up to the intended crop of leaves, and it's starting to come off now, as this shows. So it's not as I intended, but I think there might still be a shot there. Sort of make a triangle from that, but yeah, I'll set up and we can see if it's actually doable. But as you might hear as well, the heavens have opened and it started raining, so I might just have to knock this on the head tonight anyway if it gets much heavier. So we'll see how the rest of this goes, but I don't know. Anyway, in a bit. Yeah, I went for the vertical, as you might be able to see, as the wide was getting in too much other stuff to the left. So I'll see if I can get a steady shot of this as the wind has picked up a little, as you might be able to see on the back screen. So that could be a pain, but hopefully I'll manage to get a shot here and we can move on to the next one. Well, that's shot 2 in the bag, and the next one is just down this path, so only a quick walk. There might actually be a couple of shots here if it's not dropped it, and well, if it's not dropped a lot of leaves, then I might be able to get the 2 shots. But it's just every day it just changes, doesn't it? Because you get like some leaves you see are important to the composition, and then you see them there one day, and then the rest of the day, well, the following day, it might be gone. And then the composition you've seen doesn't work. So that's just how it works sometimes, though, isn't it? It's all a game of running the risk of colour and what's it called? Composition, because you might be waiting for some other leaves to fall, so it makes it a simpler look rather than more congested. But we'll just have to see. The tree is down here, just what we're coming up to, and here's some early Christmas lights. here we go. Here's the tree with the lowish leaves, and I can't actually remember what it was going to be around here. It could be something of these, but nothing's catching my eye. I remember I once saw a thing from one of the angles of walking this way, but I can't remember which one it was. So it could be over here. I think the leaves may have fallen, unfortunately. The ones that I thought would make a good composition, because they were just about face height, and now there's nothing here. So because it was the back of the leaves, not the front of the leaves, and there's none here now, so I can't really work with nothing, can I? So there's another tree down there that has got some more that I've seen before, but the wind seems to be picking up as well, so but I'm guessing it's because of the rain. So that is probably going to make it quite a big problem if I'm trying to get a close up of these. But we'll go to the next one, see what we got. At least for the second shot, the rain sort of stopped for a bit, and managed to get it without getting absolutely soaked. So there's that. I think this might actually still be on as a shot, and but here's what I'm looking at. Here, all of this sort of curves just here. It does go up a bit higher, but it gets a bit closer to the tree, so to the light. So yeah, I think it's probably going to be best to get something along that sort of line, maybe. So we'll just have to see. I'll set up my tripod and hope for the best. As you can hear, the rain started once again, and but I've swapped over to my 7200, as you might be able to see. I'll just get my light. There we go. Because I can't. There we go. I can't reach the thing otherwise. It's a bit too much of an angle on the 2470, so this is what it is. But also it sort of works well for the other composition I want to do for my last one, as that will be needing the 7200 for definite, so I don't have to now change the lens. But I'm going to try this as a landscape and also as a portrait, because I can't decide which one actually it suits better. But this is I'm gonna have to wait a little bit anyway for the wind to stop moving about as much. But yeah, other than that, that's the shot really. For all the vertical, I've actually gone in a bit tighter, on it, so I can so it's just the leaves rather than the leaves and the trunk. So we'll just get that in the can and we'll be moving on before this rain gets any heavier. Well, I think I managed to get at least one or two out of probably about 20 to be sharp, or at least look sharp on the back, but I'll have to see if that's turned into a bit of a horror story when we get around to actually processing them. So I think that yeah, I think that was probably a job for the big tripod rather than the travel tripod, but the big one's currently broken because somehow the leg shims on the twist locks have fallen off on one of them, and trying to get spares of them are like almost impossible. And I don't know, I'm just going to have to get in contact with Benro to actually see what the position on that is. So, but the big one does come in useful from time to time. Yeah, so we are currently on the way to the last one. I will give you a quick show of it, but I'm not going to make a big sort of here's what the composition is and so on, so as I don't really want to keep on talking right outside someone's gate or whatever it is. And I'm also probably going to have to be shooting over the top of some cars, so but I think it does look nice out of the from what I saw earlier, because tonight was actually the first time I saw this particular composition, because I think before this sort of time it's actually had too many leaves on it, and the thinning of the leaves has actually worked in my favour this time, so hopefully we'll get a decent shot with that. Oh, boxes. Right. I don't know if you can see them. Anyway, here is the tree up here, and I'm aiming to get this bit down here in a landscape orientation to sort of take advantage of this street light right here, and yeah, that's about it really. So hopefully it will come out something along that line without obviously the street light in it. So yeah, if it works out, I'll put it on the screen, and with that it's probably a good time to say goodbye. So catch you next time.